Hello and welcome to day 20 of Adventures in Tarot Casting for the month of October 2025. We have, I think, 12 days left, 12 days of Halloween. This is exciting. Today's spread we are working with is the Life as a Tapestry. This is a collaboration between my best friend Jenna Diaz, who is Moonlit Fae. She's the one who creates all these bags, the deck bags. She does a lot of cute little tarot bags and all sorts of things. Like, actually, tarot is what brought us together so many years ago, which is kind of awesome. So there was this digital journal that I had created, oh my goodness, probably about 5 years ago. And I had asked a few friends to create a spread, and she had created this particular spread. So I illustrated it, and here's the sticker. For the sticker, I tried to keep it, I tried to actually make it to where these spaces are kind of functional. So they're not exactly an inch, but they're pretty close. But it was just a fun challenge. So of course, since Jenna is a seamstress, we went with a fabric theme. We have the zipper, the scissors, different fabric patterns. Excuse me. And so basically, each position has, has spread placements. There's a meaning. Why can't I say it? It's still early. Forgive me. Each position has a prompt. That's the word I'm looking for. Good morning. Okay. So we're just going to get into it. We're going to look at, when you're sewing, it's the blending of two things. Like in this case, fabric. It could be in our situations in life. It's the things to connect them. You pin them, you use scissors, you use pins, these little clip tools. And the things that no longer serve, you cut away. You don't leave the seam allowance on, So that's kind of what the idea of this sticker is. So we have option 1 and 2, like positions 1 and 2, they're fabric choices. But so a main pattern or factor that's contributing to the situation. And then this is another main factor that's contributing to the situation. So it's kind of like the blending of contributing factors. I don't know why my light is flickering over here. So we're gonna use the Pocket Out of Hand Tarot. I am sold out of these in the box. The ones that I have in the shop now are the pixelated, less than perfect copies. So they're just a little bit blurry, like they're pixelated. So there are pictures in the listing if you wanted to still get one of these decks. It doesn't come with a guidebook or a box, but you can still see the images. It's just not as clear as the ones that were part of the Kickstarter. That was a whole nother drama. But anyway, so these, let's get to our fabric choices, shall we? And just kind of see what the spread wants to tell us for this demo. So we have our fabric choices. So we're going to see some patterns, main patterns that are contributing to our situations. And you could even, cut the deck in two and then take one from each pile, or, you could get playful in this step too. So we have the Wheel of Fortune. That's one contributing factor. Maybe you just keep hitting setbacks or turnarounds. And then we have the Six of Pentacles, and that's like maybe you're not giving enough of your time and resources, or you're giving too much of your time and resources, So it could say like maybe your situation is, why do you not feel like you can't get ahead in whatever, And it could say, every time I get to the point where I can almost see it, I hit a U-turn, or I can't go that way, like it's under construction. And then another factor is, I just feel like I don't have enough time. Like every time I, think I have it, something happens to where my time is needed elsewhere. And while that fills me up, it keeps getting to this point of these setbacks. So then we go into the two tiles here, which you could use tarot or Lenormand, or if you're you know, you could use regular size cards. I'm just using things that are size for this demo that are size equivalent. So we're going to use Lenormand tiles. And this one is the common element that connects these choices. And then this is the eye of the situation. So this is the needle and this is the thread. The eye of the situation, your current path or object of your focus. So the thread is the heart. And that makes sense. It's like your heart is in it. You know, you're feeling like maybe this is just something deep down that you have to do, or it's your duty, or it's your calling, but your heart is fully in it. And that's why you keep hitting these roadblocks, because you're doing so much for everybody else. But there comes a point where you got to say, okay, but what about me? Or maybe you're in that situation if it's always being for you and you have to give back, right? So you have to really see what's going on with your heart. Then the needle is saying this is the current path or object of your focus. This is the eye of the situation. And we have the tower. And it could say, well, it's bigger than you. It's like the it's like the focus is this institution, right? Maybe the system that we belong to. And you're saying, well, I have to do this. There's so much I have to do. I feel like maybe the hustle is there, but your heart's not in it anymore. You'd rather be helping people. So you keep coming up to these roadblocks. So the heart is what brings it together, is saying, okay. And then the needle is the focus. So then we get to the point of 5 here, which is stitching it all together. And this is going to be another tarot card, weaving the patterns to reach the best possible outcome. So it's saying, okay, well, we know it's part of the bigger system. Our heart's in it. You know, the wheel of fortune, it just keeps turning. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. And because with the 6 of Pentacles, it's also like, I give, I get, I give, you know. And so it comes together. It comes together in the sense of the King of Pentacles, right? So we have that here, and you're going, okay, well, I can do this because I do have the resources and the know-how, and perhaps there is even the money to back it up. You know, like, you are part of this, whether what day it feels like you're the one in charge. And so that's why your heart is truly in it. And you're the one making bigger decisions for the well-being of everybody in your family unit or everybody in your community unit. And that's what brings it all together. And it's saying, you know, you can keep doing it. There's always going to be setbacks. With those setbacks, maybe it's an opportunity to look at what you are receiving or the spots of where you're not giving enough. And that's that you have to look into your heart and say, okay, this is part of the bigger plan, right? And so the King of Pentacles reminds you that this didn't just happen overnight. It was slow, and you're the one in charge, right? And so then I'm going to bring the scissors. So that's stitching it all together in position 6 here. This is what energy can be removed to gain further clarification, what is getting in the way of the process. So this would be the seam allowance, or maybe something that just didn't work with the color choice, and you can just cut it out, right? And we're going to use the Dark Moon Damsel, an oracle card for this. I thought it was out of print, and then I did a search, and it turns out it's back up on Printer Studio. So I just got it yesterday, and then of course I had to edge it in a glittery purple. So we have unlimited. And so we're going to throw that here, and it says, this is the energy that can be removed to gain further clarification. And it could be like you think you have unlimited time and resources, right? You do in a sense, but you don't, because if your focus is on one thing and you're giving too much of yourself to others, then it isn't unlimited. There's limits to it. So you have to get to a space where either you can see that time is irrelevant and that you have unlimited resources and you can just fully blossom and let those around you really bloom, or you can pull back on how available you make yourself, you know. So that's a way to spin it, and to realize like you have unlimited resources, but there's only one of you to go around. So maybe you need to prioritize a little bit and stop saying yes to everything, or stop overcommitting, or being like, this is going to be the foundation that I'm, you know, this is my base foundation. And if I have unlimited resources, what else do I have to give up? You know, so that's kind of like a point to ponder of what you want to cut away. And then, so then I have the optional spaces because I wanted to play around with some of the images on the sticker. And we have the pincushion, and we have the thimble and the thread. And so the spool, the thread here says how to stay organized, put it all together. And so I have my words or spells button oracle. How to stay organized is to unplug. Maybe that's giving the illusion the unlimited time is a lot of it's being sucked into scrolling on the internet, or, you know, just being so plugged into what's going on. If you really want to get back to like your heart and your focus and being able to truly allow your world to expand under whatever it is you're doing, you have to unplug. And then the thimble, this energy for protection, for armor, because of course you use a thimble to not puncture your fingers when you're pushing needles through. And we have organize. And so for protection, you need to really organize, and organization is a really good step in prioritizing, right? And then pincushion here, this is the energy that catches any sharp or opposing factors. So this is kind of like the shield. And we have inspire. And so this energy, your inspiration, is what catches the opposing factors. And maybe in that you're saying, I'm so inspired to do these things. And every inspiration doesn't need to have an action upon, so you can just put a pin in it, and you can put all your inspiration off to the side and really focus on what it is right now that you need to focus on. So that's a demo for this board. This is, you know, like I said, this is a collaboration with Jenna. I really love it because every time I use it, it reminds me of her, and it brings me, you know, our connection is kind of like there. I think of all the things that we have collaborated on and we have done together through the years. I think we've been friends now since Sawyer's Path Tarot came out in 2018 through Etsy. And we just began chatting online, and here it is almost 10 years later. I mean, okay, it's a stretch, but so I feel like I've never not had her in my life. So, you know, I just love that sewing and tarot has been the thing that is the common thread in our life. And maybe you have ideas for these placements, and you would use this board in a different manner. So if you have done that, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you've used it and you've gained insights from it. And let's see what we're working with tomorrow. Getting close. And we have ancestral connections, so the ancestor tree. With this one, since it's such a big reading, I'm actually just going to do a show and tell with two of the two. I'm connecting this and the tarot houses together because there's 32 cards and there's only 31 days of October. So I'm going to go do like a little overview of both of these. My friend Erin and I have a whole series on the tarot and the houses, so I'm not going to go as in depth, but I do want to mention it. And then the ancestral tree will go dive a little bit deeper into tomorrow. As always, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel so that you stay up to date with all the tarot casting adventures that are going on. Be sure to tell your friends. And, you know, follow me in all the places. I have a Patreon. I am on Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest, I think, but I'm not as active on Pinterest and Facebook as I am on Instagram and Threads. And I will see you in all the places, and I'll see you here again tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.